how to kickflip. Alright, so first thing you want to know when you're trying to kickflip is obviously your foot stance. So what that's going to look like is you want to have the front foot closer towards the front bolts, tilted on an angle towards the opposite wheel like that. And you want to have your foot on the board enough so that you don't lose your balance when you're riding. And back foot, you want to have mid-tail, and you want to have it also kind of angled to the opposite wheel, just so you get faster pop and just more balance overall. And then once you got the foot stance down, it looks like that. And then what you want to do for the kickflip is you want to, first of all, you want to know how to ollie. And then once you know how to ollie, you should be fine. Now, obviously, what you're going to do first for the kickflip is you're going to pop as hard as you can and jump as high as you can. Because the higher you jump, the higher your kickflip is. The higher your kickflip is, the steezier it is, the better people think you are at skateboarding. So it's all good. And then, once you got the pop down, you really don't need to do so much of a ollie motion with your front foot as much as a flick motion like that. And what people think they need to do for the kickflip is they think they need to flick it out here super hard with their legs, and then that doesn't give them enough time to get their foot back, and they'll land somewhere like that. What you want to do is you want to just lightly flick with your ankle in the corner pocket here, because that's all you need for the board to do its full flip. Just lightly flick. Once you got the flick down, you want to learn how to stay over your board when you pop. And what I mean by that is when you're popping, don't lean back like this, because you'll fall off your board. You want to lean over the board as you pop, so that you have better balance with your front foot, giving you more flick power. Because if you get more flick power, faster your kickflips go, faster you can catch your kickflip, steezier your kickflip is. It's all about the steez, right? All about the steez. And then, once you get the lean right, you want to learn how to commit with your back foot. Now this is one of the most major problems I've ever seen with the kickflip, is people flick it, they flick their board, all perfect, they catch it with the front foot, but they just don't jump with their back foot, and they end up like this. Now what that looks like is that looks like this. I'll show. Looks like this. Now, what I did there was I didn't bring my back foot forward. Now people think that all you gotta do is just jump with your back foot. All they think is just jump with your back foot. That's not what you gotta do. You gotta bring your back foot forward so that you can land on your bolts. And once you got the back foot down, you got your front foot down, you got the lean right, you got the flick right, you'll be ready to do some kickflips. Alright, common problems for the kickflip. Now, the most common problem I've seen with the kickflip is not committing to land on your board. And what that looks like is people get the full flick on their board, they're flicking and popping fine, but when it comes to landing and positioning yourself over the board, they land like this. Now, problem with that is you can't land on your board. So what you want to do to fix that is you want to get the right foot stance down, because most of the time The people who land like this, their foot stance looks like something like this, with their heels hanging way off and their toes just barely on the board and their front foot way back on the board. The problem with that is, most of the time you're going to flick it too fast, and you're going to over flip it because your foot's hanging off way too much. And then another reason that they're landing like this and they're flicking it like this is they're not leaning over the board. And you got to remember that one of the most important keys to landing the kickflip is leaning over your board as you pop. It's so important to learn how to lean over your board when you pop in the kickflip. Because if you don't, you're going to be out here. You're gonna land it like that. Well, you're not gonna land it. So, basically, the only way you're gonna really fix that problem is committing to bringing both your feet back to the board and leaning over your board as you pop. Now, another common problem with the kickflip is catching the board or landing on the board with only one foot. You can land on it with your front foot or back foot, but they just don't land on it with both their feet. Now, what they're doing is, with whatever foot they're not landing on it with, they're not committing with, obviously. And the foot that they are landing on with is mostly out of fluke, because let's say you keep landing on back foot like this. Now, I used to have this problem when I first started out, and that was because I waited for the full flick, and then once the board landed, I'd go like that, and I'd think I was so close, but if you're landing one foot on the kickflip, you're really not that close. And all you want to remember is, again, lean over your board when you pop. That's so important to know. And if you're landing back foot with your front foot off, it's probably because you're flicking like this. You're flicking downwards. Now you don't want to flick downwards because then you can't land on your board. It doesn't work. You want to flick just parallel to the board like that. That gives you enough time to see the full flip, extend your foot back, land on bolts like that. So if you're landing back foot, just remember to have a parallel flick to the board. Nice, calm, cool flick. Bring your foot back. And if you're landing like this, you've got the flick down and you've got your front foot all right, all perfect, but you just can't seem to get that back foot on there. And what the problem is with that is you're not committing and you're just kind of going like that. You're not jumping with your back foot. So what you got to do is pop really hard, jump high enough so you can let the board do its full kickflip flip rotation. And you want to remember to really, after you pop, take your foot off the board, obviously, to let it flip, and then bring it forward, just to ensure that you'll land on the board. And once you solve those problems, you should be good for the kickflip.